Well, I got my first paraglider. I did my training roughly a year ago on a regular A-wing, school wing, super safe, felt like driving a bus. I got my own glider, which is a Dudek Run&Fly 2. It is a single skin wing, but it has like the trailing edge is still double, so it inflates properly, it has a bit more stability. Well, overall, because it is a single skin, it is super light. For me personally, I'm a fan of running in the mountains and flying back down. The downside here, of course, is that it has less lift, which is fine for me, because I just want to go down the mountain, right? I don't want to soar and do like thermaling and stuff like this, at least not too excessively. And now I had the challenge of figuring out where to fly. First I did 3 days, I think, of ground handling. I was always having the hope of catching some wind and actually making a couple of meters flying, but it turned out to just be ground handling. And then, because I live in Sofia has a couple of mountains around, I actually spent a couple of days just looking for places to fly, basically. But doing it for the first time is a challenge. To figure out where I wanted to fly, I used Google Earth and Windy. If you didn't know, in Windy you can just turn on paragliding spots and they will pop up on the map. Problem with the Windy paragliding spots is that they are aimed for people who already know what they're doing. Windy doesn't show you 100-meter spots. So from ground handling, the next step for me would be getting like 100 meters up and actually doing like 10, 20, 30 seconds of flight time. And this is what I was trying to do. I checked out 2 spots here in the neighborhood and I was actually looking forward to flying there today. And I actually did it. So the weather was looking okay for my favorite spot here, but the winds turned and in the end I had to move to the default spot, which is called Vitosha around here, and I just went up to 1,800 meters or so, and the wind was actually pretty good. So compared to the past couple of flights where there was no wind, which makes taking off pretty difficult, today I actually had quite some wind, more than I expected. The wind was actually pretty good. It was so good that it blew me off my feet. So what happened is today I put down my paraglider. I already prepared the glider pretty well at home, hooked myself in, did a small test inflation, which everything worked out pretty well, honestly, and just stand, control the paraglider above me and just see how it feels. What actually happened the moment when I pulled up the paraglider, the wind was so strong that even though I was doing a reverse start, it just picked me off my feet and probably threw me through the air for like 30 meters. When it picked me up, I had the brakes in my hand and I was just, after like 2 seconds of realizing what has happened, I'm in the air. I started pulling the brakes and I don't know, after 30 meters or so, I was touching down again. This was quite a big surprise to me at this point, because I was actually happy that the wind is there. Because I had little wind before, I didn't really expect the wind to be this strong. I didn't also check Windy, so first learning from this part is actually check Windy, set a flag and see how strong the wind is. You should definitely, as a beginner, not fly above 6 knots, I think it is. And today I think it was between 7 and 9, so this explains why I just got ripped off my feet. This, for me personally, was an interesting experience. So the first times actually, I didn't even lift off, I was just running around the ground trying to inflate my glider. And the second time, there was so much wind that I got ripped off my feet and actually I flew backwards. So the third time will be the charm, and hopefully weather will be fine, wind will be fine, and I will have my own first flight for like hopefully 20 seconds or so forward. That would be nice. If you want to know where I did the training, how much it was, more of those details, just let me know. Or if you want to know more about why I picked a specific glider, because there's also ultralight and other ones that you can pick, just let me know. I might do 1 or 2 more videos about this stuff. If you want to see more of that, there will be one more video coming up where I actually do my test flight, which is 100 meters of altitude roughly, and hopefully not so much wind. Enough to fly, but not enough to be dragged away. And there will be a full video coming up where I do the whole descent, so I will go up to 1,800 roughly meters, and I'll descend down to roughly 700, 800 meters. So if you just got your license and you don't know what you're doing, like me, or you're interested in actually doing your license and then continuing on doing it by yourself, I'll try to share my learnings along the way. Hopefully you can benefit from what I learn and what I share. There are not a lot of educational videos out there that actually show you how to start after the training, how to plan your own first flight. So if you want to know more about this stuff, because right now I have this unique opportunity to share my beginner steps with you, just let me know. I actually spent a couple